first I want to say thank you for having me on the show. Glad to be here. And it started about a year or so ago. We were kind of like trying to find something like that will really stand out in the gaming space. So it was kind of like the trial and error process. And then one day he came to me, was like, "How about we go like the Cowboy Bebop route?" And I'm like, "I dig it." So then I'm at home and I was like, I should mix Cowboy Bebop with like Afro funk and Afro beat. So like I just wanted to just be like just unapologetically just like my people's culture, and just like I just wanted to show like a new style of music that you don't usually hear in video games. So after I came out with the first track, yeah, we was like, all right, this is the direction we going. And just kind of like kept evolving it over the course of the year. I've been making music for the game.
This is something that really fascinates me because I've just never ever been musically inclined. And one thing that like caught me about your Fiverr website is this description of wanting to blend genres and try to get different types of influences. Well, I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. My first question before that is just kind of how did you get started in music, and how does someone hire you to do this kind of work on video games?
So it's a funny story about how I started making music. I was like 12 or 13, and I was going to a video game store called Game. I think it was Game Heads at the time, and I was trying to buy a copy of Final Fantasy IX. I didn't have enough money, so I ended up picking up NTV's Music Generator One because I had to go home with something. And when I was at home, I started tinkering with it. I was like, I love putting music together. And I just started making beats on MTV Music Generator 1. And then after that, it evolved. It was like I got my first PC and I started learning how to use different tools. And I've always been interested in blending like music together and all that stuff. So it just helps get my creative juices flowing when I'm able to just like be in a lab and just watch one beat become something like so grand and different from my imagination.
I find that super interesting in the sense that like I've heard this story come from people who are good at making movies. Right? It was like I got my
Mm-hmm.
first uh, iMovie or my first iMac and had iMovie, and I just started making movies based with the one camera that I had or whatever the case. The origin stories are always so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we transition into that idea of blending genres, what is it about that process of bringing in multiple genres that gets you excited?
Well, growing up, I've always loved listening to different genres of music, whether it be like rock or metal or hip hop or like folk music or orchestral pieces. And I've always been interested to see like how much can we like really like interchange styles of music, because music to me is like language, and when you blend those languages to make something new entirely, you get like this whole new like new creation that like you're not used to hearing. It's to me it's like putting pieces to a puzzle together and trying to figure out what's the most intricate way you can like take this part from this genre and this part from this genre and just kind of like blend it together. That's like my favorite part of making music entirely.
We're talking to Daniel Wilkins, who is behind the music of this game, Aerial Knights Never Yield. And I have mentioned that we're focusing on the music in this interview, but in your title, video game programmer, how else have you
Mm-hmm.
been involved in games?
Well, I went to school for gaming. I got a 4 year degree in that, and it was originally in programming. I didn't go to school for the music part because I was already well inclined in making music at the time. But right now, I'm currently working on my own project where it's like a Metroidvania style game, and I'm the lead programmer of that game and also doing the music for that game. I'm working on it with a buddy of mine named Lionel. He's doing all the art, and we're trying to go for like this really cool like Metroid Dark Soulish type world, like mixed with like alien technology and stuff of that nature.
All right, so Chrissy on our Twitch has asked us, I need to know about the Spider Man behind you, the
Oh,
life size Spider Man.
so I've had this Spider-Man like all my life. I got it right before I got into making music. I went to Blockbuster as a kid, and I bought like the first copy of the Spider-Man movie at my local Blockbuster. And the winner of the person who bought the first copy of that actually got the Spider-Man statue. So there's like a limited amount of these statues out in the world right now. I've had this thing for like almost 20 years, like house to house. I always keep it with me. I like to dress up with hats and stuff, get a little personality. So
I
yeah,
love it.
it's like my best friend back there.
I remember when I was a kid, my parents happened to get like an inflatable like Super Bowl promotion goalpost
Hmm.
from one of the bars in town. You know, when they don't need them anymore, they gave them out. I had that thing in my house for like a year and a half, kicking field goals through it. It was my favorite thing. And then my best friend at the time was trying to flip around like a broomstick as a Ninja Turtle and popped it, like stuck the
Oh
broomstick
no.
part into the corner of it. I was so devastated. May
Oh
your
man.
Spider-Man live a better fate than my Miller Lite
I
goalpost.
try to protect it as best as possible.
All right, let's close with this. We're talking about Aerial Knights Never Yield. What's your favorite part about this game as
Um,
you've seen it get built?
I love the art aesthetics of the game. I like how the music I've been creating with it has been blended with like the art style. I think it has a very unique feel to it that you don't usually see in a lot of different games. Um, Having a an African American protagonist is something you don't usually see in games nowadays, and I'm glad that we're at a point now where we can put these type of games out here and kind of show people that we're on the map too. And we can make games, we can make music, we can do all these cool things.
I absolutely agree. I'm excited to see this one, and we have been trying to add more games into our repertoire. I'm one of those people. I like hosting things, and I like watching other people play games. But my counterpart, part Sean, he'll definitely be playing this game when it comes out.
Awesome,
Approximately
awesome.
when do you expect it to be out?
As of right now, it'll be out around next year. Don't have an exact date right now, but stay tuned. I mean, we still got lots of cool things planned for it.
Daniel Wilkins, music behind Aerial Knights Never Yield. You can follow the game on Aerial_Knight. That's Neil's handle, the creator of the game. You can follow Daniel Wilkins 90. Thanks so much for taking time to join us on Gaming Morning Show.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
That was a lot of fun. Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate it. And you can see, I mean, we saw Chrissy say it in the chat. That is a very good looking game, and pretty excited about what's going to happen with that game. I can't wait to get our hands on it. Now,